do you feel that the federal government, when we look at our budget, is about 4-point-something trillion, do you feel that they can find 1.51 trillion to make the money available for the enhancement and development of our universities in Nigeria?
When government had difficulty in implementing the agreement in 2011, you remember we had to go on strike. Government on its own gave us a roadmap in the form of an MOU on 24th January 2012 on how it's going to implement the agreement. Now, as part of that MOU, government decided that it will provide the sum of 100 billion naira immediately to stimulate the process of revitalization of our universities in 2012, and then provide the sums of 400 billion naira per annum for the years 2013, 2014, and 2015. This one is a document that was issued by government, not by ASUU. And this is the roadmap for implementation of that component of the agreement. Surprisingly, we were made to understand that for universities to access this sum, there is a need for assessing what are the immediate requirements of the universities. And that was the outcome as the needs assessment report that I had before me. And the needs assessment report itself, the technical aspect of it requires that government should make available the sum of 800 billion naira for 2 years in the short term to begin to address the problems of revitalization of our universities in terms of research facilities and teaching and learning environment. Now, the problem here is that what we had in the 2009 agreement was just for federal universities. In the MOU, the agreement or the position of government was that it's going to make available, if you notice, 1.3 trillion naira for public universities. Here, I mean federal and state universities for the period of 4 years. So on the average, you will see that it is more than 300 billion. In fact, since we are heading towards the end of 2013, already by the MOU, universities, public universities are owed a total sum of 500 billion naira by government. So what the union is saying is that if government is serious about implementing the agreement, it should at least go by the roadmap it has set on itself by providing the sum of 500 billion naira for 2012 and 2013. Now, you raise the question whether government can be able to do that. I think the assertion by the Minister of Information that government doesn't have the money, I think the actions of government do not really verify that. What do I mean by that? Not too long ago, government bailed out banks with the sum of 3 trillion naira. That is one. And the banking sector is a private enterprise. Not long after that, government also bailed out textile industries and the aviation industries to the tune of several hundreds of billions of naira. Not too long back, government also bailed out Nollywood. Nollywood is a film industry, a private sector industry, to the tune of several billions of naira. And last month, Mr. President was there to commission the fund for small and medium-scale enterprises to the tune of about 220 billion naira. Now, if we take all this into consideration, does it really confirm that government doesn't have money? Or is it that when it is an issue affecting private enterprises, where operators of government have their investments, government will have money to bail them out? But when it comes to the issue of education, public enterprise, where every Nigerian stands to benefit, including the private enterprises who will now be availed of quality graduates who can come and move them so that our country will begin the process of achieving development in all aspects of national life. Are we saying that it's only when it affects education that government would say there is no money? We are not convinced there is no money because the actions of government clearly indicate that there is money.
Okay, now I understand your position, and speaking for a lot of Nigerians, because most of us, if not every one of us, have brothers and sisters or cousins or family members or even friends in universities. The question is, whose interest is ASUU protecting by not going back to work? Is it the interest of ASUU or the interest of the children and young people of Nigeria, whose lives, some people have said, is being wasted away because they are left with no option but to stay at home and do nothing?
First, I think it's important to state categorically that I decided to take the teaching profession and to join ASUU because I've seen that that is the system that cares about human development. We are talking about developing human capital for this country. There is no country that has achieved any meaningful development without developing its human capital. A typical example is China. The Chinese decided to give their population adequate, high-quality, empirical knowledge. And that is the basis of the development of the Chinese economy. Recently, Mr. President had to go to China to sign a number of MOUs. What is wrong with us investing in education? So what the union is all about is asking the country to do what is right for once. Let us turn around our universities in such a way that they can compete effectively with other universities globally, and at the same time will begin to attract both lecturers and students from other countries. Take, for instance, what is happening with our students migrating en masse to other countries for education, vis-à-vis the capital flight. For instance, our students are going to Ghana for education, and we are losing billions of naira when our students go for education in Ghanaian universities.
Dr. Fagi,
if we develop our universities in Nigeria, I want to assure you that the universities have the capacity to generate revenue more than what we are getting from crude oil. So what is wrong with us doing what is right in this country? The union is saying that for the first time, let us forget about politics, let us forget about whatever, let us invest solidly in education and let us see what will come out of that investment. So that is the major crux of the crisis that we are in the system now.
Let me quickly come in here.
And to mention about students staying at home, I think it's important to understand that what is the alternative? Yes, the students can come and stay in the universities, and we keep on graduating them without learning anything. I've been receiving complaints from employers of labor that our graduates cannot even write simple application letters. Do we want to continue this deception?
Issue. Let me quickly
what we are saying is that for once, let us do what is right. Provide Nigerian intellectuals with the tools to deliver, and we will deliver on our mandate. We are not happy that things are happening the way they are happening. But if you also notice, the moment a Nigerian intellectual leaves the shores of this country and moves abroad, he is cherished because he can deliver on his assignment. We have never received any information that a Nigerian intellectual had left the shores of this country, joined a university abroad, and he has been sent back for non-performance. So what that means is that we have the capacity to deliver. But what we are asking for are the tools that will enable us deliver on our mandate.
Dr. Fagi, talking about the tools that will make you deliver on your mandate. With this action you've embarked on, and the request you're making from the federal government, will this really put an end to the incessant strike for a long time in the universities?
I'm confident that if Nigerians support us, and we together talk to government to do what is right, by first implementing this agreement and then commencing the process of review of the agreement, because the agreement has a three-year lifespan. I'm confident that we are going to put a solid foundation towards addressing the multitude of problems in our educational sector, particularly university education, and in such a way that for a very long time, in fact, we will start thinking of bidding bye-bye to strike actions in the system. But we have to do what is right. And that is why the union is this time around stamping its feet to ensure that we do what is right and we move our universities forward so that they can continue, to fulfill their mandate in terms of their contribution to nation building.